I'm 65, and in my 60s I've started noticing things that nobody warned me about. Not big things, just small ones. But they are the ones that change how life actually feels. Everyone seems to talk about retirement at this stage of life, about making their money last, about slowing down, but nobody talks about what it feels like to live inside an ageing body while your mind still thinks you're 30. And if you don't understand this, it catches you off guard, and that's where you struggle. So here are 8 harsh truths about being a 65-year-old man that nobody tells you about. Number 1. Your body is changing. Whether you like it or not, this is the one you avoid. You can do everything right, you can eat well, you can train, lift weights, walk 5 miles a day, it doesn't matter. You look after yourself and still things start breaking down. Your joints ache, your energy dips, recovery seems to take longer than you think, and you think to yourself, well, I'll stay on top of this. But at some point you realise you're not the one that's in control, and certainly not in the way you thought, and that changes how you think about life. I've noticed this more and more in my life after I had my gallbladder removed. Once upon a time I just thought I could eat anything and that would always be the case, and now it isn't. I can't eat anything. I just need to look at a piece of steak and my stomach starts to ache. I've got to be very careful now about what I eat, and I didn't think that would be the case when I was in my 30s. And then there's my eyesight. A recent visit to the optician, they told me I had the early stages of cataracts. Good God, that's old people, isn't it, that have cataracts? Yeah, exactly. And then there are the arthritis attacks that I get from time to time in my feet, in my knees and my hands. Not sure what triggers them. Sugar, I think, but I'm not sure. But that is just a reminder to me that your body just never stays the same. Number 2, you start losing people. This one changes you. When you're younger, you don't think about losing your parents, but eventually it happens. My dad died in 2004 when he was only 74 years of age, and my mum passed away 13 years later at age 85. And you just think they're going to be there forever. They're always with you when you're growing up, but it starts to happen. As you get older, it happens more often. And every time you get the same thought about life, that this isn't forever, and the people around you aren't forever, and that makes everything more real. Number 3, time speeds up. This one is hard to explain, but you feel it. The years start flying past. They start feeling like months. Birthdays tend to come around so much faster, and you start thinking to yourself, where did that time go? Now you know time hasn't changed. 60 minutes is still 60 minutes. A week is still a week. But what's changed is you. You've changed. And once you see that, you start to value the days that you have got left very differently. Number 4, your mind stays young, but your body doesn't. Mentally, you still feel like you. You have the same thoughts, the same identity, but your body tells a different story. Stiffer, slower, less reliable, and that gap can be frustrating because you expect more than your body can give. And there are always timely reminders that you're 65 now, you're not 35. As I mentioned earlier, the joints start to ache, and then there are just kind of like random parts of you that just seem to break down from time to time, whether it's your knees or your back. There's always something that seems to come around, a lot more so than when you were younger. Number 5, you become invisible. This one catches you off guard. You're in a room, and I don't know if it's me, but it seems that people just kind of talk over me. They ignore you, they dismiss you, and you notice it because you haven't changed, not even in the slightest, but how you're seen has changed. You're now regarding as a bit of an old fart, and that can hit you really hard. It can hit your confidence. I didn't think too much about it until I got into my 50s. And at that time I was doing part-time work as a business consultant and also doing some executive coaching with business leaders. As my 50s progressed, less and less opportunities for work cropped up. And the reason for that was because the gap between me and my target audience, which were managing directors and leaders in their, late 30s, early 40s, the gap started getting wider and wider. And now that I'm 65, the reality is that I'm old enough to be their dad. Number 6, your energy becomes precious. This is where things shift. Your tolerance drops, noise, drama, pointless people. You just don't have the patience for that anymore. And you don't have the energy to deal with it anymore either. And at first, I won't lie, it does feel like a little bit of a loss, but it isn't. It's clarity. You start seeing who really matters in life and who doesn't matter. And what happens is that makes your world get smaller, but in some ways it also makes it get better because you're cutting the crap out of it. Before we go on, a few people have started supporting the channel as members. If you'd like to do that, there's a join button below. No pressure at all. Number 7, responsibility doesn't stop. This one surprises people. You think by this stage life should be a lot simpler because, let's face it, you've got some serious knowledge in there and you've got a real track record behind you. Does that make life simpler? Well, no, it doesn't. Life isn't simpler. You're still dealing with things. And some of the things that you have to deal with, you don't actually think that you would have to deal with them when you're 65. The thing that's very much on my mind at the moment is aging family. I've got a 96-year-old uncle, and I've also got in-laws who are well into their 80s. And I know that when they were 65, they didn't have that. Their parents had passed away, and at 65, they were able to enjoy their retirement without any pressure, without anybody to be responsible for. I was grown up. When my mum and dad was 65, I was well grown up. I was well into my 30s and independent. And my son's 27, and he's no real demand on me at all. It's a bit like a sandwich with 3 layers, a top slice, a middle and a bottom slice. The bottom slice is dependent kids, and I'm fortunate I haven't got that. The middle is you're the filling. And then the top slice is aging parents. And I think what we boomers in particular have become is a sandwich generation, which our parents definitely weren't. Life doesn't seem to wind down at this age like it did before, but it shifts and sometimes it gets heavier, not lighter. Number 8, you don't have to act old. This is the one that matters most. Aging is not the problem, giving up is. I've seen people switch off far too early, both mentally and physically, and that's their choice. Because I've also seen the opposite of that. I've seen people in their 80s and their 90s still very much engaged with life, still curious, still living, and remarkably, some of them make the decision to work. And that's their decision. It's a decision you get to make too. Let me say this, getting older isn't easy, but it doesn't have to be miserable. You lose things, but you do gain clarity, perspective, and a real sense of what matters. So here's the question. What has surprised you most about getting older? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to support the channel, you can become a member. There's a join button below. No obligation. And if this resonated with you, watch this one next. It's about the things that make no sense after 60. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.